Okay, thank you for coming. And yeah, so my name is Elaine. I'm the CEO and founder of Kaiser Innovation. And today I'm going to talk about 5 things that you didn't know getting into the UX industry. Um, so we heard you. How many of you feel this way? Actually, we've talked to many young designers or people who are career changes coming into the UX industry. And this is what we heard from them. We actually did our user research, okay? Yeah, we eat our own dog food too. So how many of you feel this? You feel unready to land a UX job? You feel it's hard to land a UX internship? Find it challenging to get a job interview, a UX job interview? Not enough real-world experience? Your UX portfolio is not standing out from the crowd? You find the UX job descriptions are confusing and inconsistent? You don't actually get any feedback from the hires and recruiters. And you're not sure how to find senior design mentors, to get feedback. Some of you, I heard you feel burnt from intensive courses and boot camps, and also unsure how to network effectively. How many of you feel this way? You can raise your hand. Yep. So yes, you are, Serini. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I've been in the industry for like 20 some years. So we also coach a lot of young people. So I know what the problem is with the industry right now. Okay, so did you know that actually in our industry right now, 90% of the designers in the market are junior to mid-level designers? So I bet many of you are like in this blue and orange area, right? And a lot of the job descriptions are asking for 3 to 5 years experience. Is that right? Yeah. I myself have 20 plus years of experience. So I'm like the 1.6% in this diagram. Okay. The people who are hiring you are in this green box. Okay. In this green box. And the people with 5 to 9 years experience are the hotcakes right now. But the majority of the market are people below like 3 to 5 years experience from what I see. Okay, so who am I? So this is my background. My name is Elaine. I've actually spent 12 years working in the US in the 90s. So in the first .com boom and bust. So I worked in New York, Silicon Valley, San Francisco. I also went to Carnegie Mellon, one of the early schools that has interaction design program. So I graduated from interaction design, and I have a visual design as undergrad as well. I've also, after the 90s, I went back to Asia for almost 20 years, and then came back just recently to North America, to Canada. After right during COVID, like 2020, I came back to Canada. Okay, so right now I'm in Vancouver. I've also taken the design thinking from Stanford, and also went to business school. So I've seen a lot of stuff in the industry. I also worked at Philips Design. Okay. Yep. So, one second. Yep. So we've actually, I have my business for 20 years already. It was stationed in Hong Kong. We help a lot of Western companies in Asia. So we've helped companies like Google, Airbnb, Dropbox, Intel, Siemens, Motorola. So I know how these companies innovate, and I know how they hire UX designers and what qualifications they're looking for. So many of them are my friends and my peers because I'm, up there already in terms of age group. So we've also done a lot of training all over, and also, deliver talks worldwide. Okay. I also run IX Day Vancouver. So if you're actually in Vancouver, welcome to come to our monthly events. So right now, I grew IX Day Vancouver. Now it's around 1,000 people between Facebook and Meetup group. So we have a lot of different topics every month. So please do come if you're physically here. Okay, so Before I talk about the 5 things that you probably didn't know get into UX industry, I want to show you how we can help. These are actually some of my students who, through the online training and our internship or apprenticeship program, have successfully, transitioned from even other industries to UX. So, Roy has already been 10 years ago. He's now at Microsoft. He was from engineering and he switched to UX. Tintin's from geography major into UX. She worked at Ant Bank and now is at Binance. Okay. And some are even from finance to UX, architecture from UX. I even had a flight attendant, Shandy, because right up when COVID exploded, she couldn't, she got fired in her job, and then now she is in UX. Okay, so this is our UX Hive, your UX career bridge success formula. So one thing that I noticed is, because I've also sponsored some of the boot camps before, and some schools with design programs, and I noticed that a lot of the portfolios are more templatized, right? And it's just a checklist of, okay, have you covered like personas and user journey and stuff? So in our program, we actually try to unleash your UX potential, aligning your right strengths to the right UX role, and make your portfolio stand out. And we advocate you being higher centered in your job hunt. I know a lot of people had sent out 100 resumes sitting at home. Okay. And also your portfolio needs to show innovation and show how your creativity. It's not just about like making interfaces. Okay. And you need to involve users in your design process, and you need to validate your design and show your thinking. And also in our program, we can also endorse your skills so that we can bridge you to the right employer. Okay, so this is Tintin. She actually was our intern 2 years ago. She's now working at Binance. And this is her, what she has to say, okay?
Hi, my name is Tintin. I graduated in 2018 and now I'm working as a UX designer at Ant Bank in Hong Kong. Last year, so in my first job, I was working as a UX UI designer at a startup in Hong Kong, doing IoT solutions, specifically on smart energy management and indoor air quality management. But at the time, I was the only designer in the company. And for me, it was very difficult to really understand what UX was and how to do UI better. So given this dilemma as the only designer, I sought out opportunities outside of my company to learn more about this industry. And to do so, I actually approached Elaine through IXDA in Hong Kong, and I eventually began an internship program last year in February with 4 other students to do research about Chinese learning. So during this internship program, I worked with 3 other students to, for my team, we tried to do research on adult Chinese learners, whereas the other group learn more about younger children's Chinese learning habits. And through this internship, I feel like my expertise in UX and UI has really solidified. So for example, during the internship, Elaine would guide us through the entire design thinking process, from empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping, and testing. So during each of these stages, she was able to give us a lot of feedback on how to improve our product market fit, how to really ask the right question in the right way to get real user insights. And also later on, how to improve the visual design of the prototypes and how to conduct usability testing in an unbiased manner to improve the design further. So I'm very grateful that I had this opportunity to join Elaine's internship program. And looking back, I feel that joining this program has helped me to land my current job at Ant Bank because of the expertise that I've accumulated through this 3-month internship. Hi, my name is Susan.
Oops. Okay. So actually, you can search this on LinkedIn. She was our intern in 2020 for 4 months, and so at that time she was working in this as tech startup. And I know a lot of junior designers; they're like the only designer in a tech startup, right? And then afterwards, she actually in this same company, she already switched to a UX designer role. She then went in a year's time. She went on to NBank, and now she's at Binance. Okay, so. Look, she was from geography background and psychology background. Okay, so the 5 things that you probably didn't know. Okay, does any of you know that UX is actually not just one role? Can I see a show of hands? Did you know it's not one role? Okay, so actually in larger companies in UX, there could be at least maybe 3 to 4 roles. User researcher, user testing, some interaction design, information architect, or visual design, right? So, but then in smaller companies, usually it's like, mushed together in one role, okay? So if you join a tech startup, they might see you more as a interface design or visual designer if the company's maturity is in UX is not there yet. But in large companies, the stuff that UX designers do can be, this much, right? So you need to know what kind of companies you're looking for and how mature are they in the UX process. All right, so a lot of people think UX is just a UI interface, which is the tip of the iceberg. But in mature companies, they know how to do UX properly, understand user needs, like doing user research way up front or exploratory research. Also working closely together. Working closely together with tech people, right, to define the functional requirements. And then the interaction design, information architecture, all the way to the user interface. So this is a key diagram that you guys should pay attention to. I actually do make this differentiation for people coming into the industry. How many of you have design backgrounds? Like graphic, industrial, interior, architecture, media? How many of you do? Okay. Serini, okay. Theo, okay. Amelia, okay. So there are the design backgrounds and the non-design backgrounds, okay? But usually, so UX is actually encompassing all these different skills, okay? For roles like user research and user testing, I feel it's more people skills, soft skills. Like if you're more of an extrovert, you like to talk to people, right? And then there's interaction design, which is the more logical skills. And then finally, the user interface and visual design, it's more the visualization skills, okay? So I have had students come from design backgrounds or non-design backgrounds, but you just need to know that there's this difference. Do you know the reason why? Because if you don't have a design background, you can't execute the design well. The analogy is like, if you want to be a chef, but you can't cook, you can just design the dishes, then you're more like the non-design background people, okay? But I can tell you that most small companies look for people who has execution skills, who has design execution skills, okay? So if you don't have a design background and you call yourself a designer, that's when you don't get a job, okay? Because companies are looking for, especially smaller companies, are looking for people who can do actual visual design, like actual execution of the design. All right, so what do I mean by people skills? So when we do user research and user testing, we have to talk to a lot of people, we have to recruit users. So you probably need to be more of like a people person. You like talking to people for you to be comfortable with this. Some designers are more introverted and they just want to work on their craft, right? And that role is probably not suitable for you. And then there's this part, which is completely logical. It's the interaction design part. We'll do flow diagrams. We'll do, this goes there and this go back to there, like goes backwards. This is a very logical skill. And also sometimes there's also UX copywriting. You need to name the things properly, especially in smaller companies, that's all in one row. So these are for people who are more logical brains. And then there's like the UI design, which is more visualization skills. And also visual skills is also useful when you're trying to present ideas in a very clear manner to employers or clients, okay? So I do make this distinction so that you guys know which entry point you should come into UX. All right, so this is Ringo. He actually, so 5 months ago, he was still an architect, okay? He's still interning for me, but I already helped him bridge to a job. So during his internship, I have a client that does an interior app that's an AI. And because he has an architectural background, I put him on this project. Okay, I told him you shouldn't be just randomly looking for a UX job, because with his architectural background in 3D, if he applies to a fintech job, he has no advantage. Okay, so this is Ringo.
Ringo, and I'm working in an architecture now. So yeah, last year was a bit of transition year for me, because I find Elaine on Telegram in a group called UX in Canada. So now I'm currently a part-time remote intern, a UX intern like you guys, and decided to transition into UX because I like the design thinking in UX. So I've been in this role for about 2 months now. So yeah, that's a little bit of my story.
Okay, so Ringo did this 2 months ago. This was like more in like January, okay, 2-3 months ago. And actually he's on holiday now because he just got his job offer, okay? I was able to bridge him to one of our clients, and guess what? He didn't even have a portfolio. He didn't need to go through an interview. Because why? Because I vouched for his, skills, because he has interned for me for a few months. I know him inside out. He is very responsible. And he also has very good talent. And I was able to help him bridge his existing skills to this new job. So he'll be starting this new job in June 1st. Okay.
Ringo,
okay. So look, he graduated from architecture 2021. So he was through a few jobs, and he was working at a housing authority in Hong Kong. And he has been interning for me from December till now. And he already landed a job. Okay. So number 2, out of the 5 things that you probably didn't know. Did you know, like, this is my perspective. If you do UX without user research, it's not UX. Okay. I know a lot of people tell me that they get confused about job descriptions online, like on LinkedIn and all that. Because some of the roles, although they're called UX, they might just be graphic design jobs or web design. You have to really understand if the company has the maturity to do UX. A lot of companies, they don't have the time or budget to let you, even interview users, okay? So why is it called user experience if no user has been involved in your design process? Of course, a lot of small companies actually don't do that, right? They don't have the knowledge or the expertise to do this, but just to show you how we actually do it in real industry. Okay, so a lot of people think, especially small companies, they think, oh, UX is UI design, right? It's just the interface. So if that's their concept, what will end up happening is if you join the company, you'll just be whipping out interfaces, and you probably don't have the evidence to back up your design, right? You'll be kind of debating it with the tech team or the marketing team or even the CEO, and you don't have any ammunition to back up what you think should be right, based on user research. So, I mean, because of now, with COVID, I think a lot of user research has been reduced to one-on-one user interviews. So this is actually, we were working on a VR, like a 360 project, and we talked to users remotely. But before COVID, how user research works is we actually do in-context research. Like this is actually a hospital in Wuhan. This is 10 years ago, not recent, okay? But our client, this is a prototype. This is a medical device prototype. We actually go to the hospital, talk to the nurses and doctors, and get feedback, for our clients. We do shadowing. We follow people around. We go to their homes. We follow them to shopping and all that. We do intercept interviews, like on the streets, okay? And we do buddy groups. We talk to, a group of people, and sometimes they know each other, so they're more comfortable expressing their real feelings. We do user testing. Right now, you can also do user testing online, but this was like in real person. Okay. We even like send out teams to go do visual surveys to know like what people drink here, for example, in the situation where you can't physically go there. Okay, so a lot of you probably, if you've just entered the industry, you probably didn't even know these methods existed, right? Okay, and then we come back to do analysis. So in the old days, analysis was like on the walls, right? We took a lot of photos in people's homes and we come back to do analysis together. But nowadays, a lot of this could be on Mural, right? So this is like a plant-based meat project where we kind of visual surveyed what people ate and what time of the day. So here's where visualization skill also is helpful, because you can present the idea to the client or your boss more succinctly. Okay, number 3. To be honest, I think UX, especially in small companies, if it's your first hire, employers do expect you to be able to execute the design. So if you don't have visual skills, that could be, a disadvantage. But some companies, when they are not very UX mature, then they might be okay with that, depending on the company, right? Some companies, maybe the visual part is not so important. Maybe it's very functional. Maybe it's like finance or fintech stuff. Like it's the functional side is much more important, or the logical side, then maybe visual skills is less important. But I can say a lot of times employers do want a junior designer to be able to execute the design and not just talk about it. Okay. So here's how UX works with like UI developer and front end and back end application developer. So you can see in user experience, it actually encompasses research, information design, interaction design, and also visual design, right? So some of you who don't have visual background, then you might be over here, which is more logical and people-based. And then the visual skill is over here. So if you have everything, then you are very advantageous. Okay, so this is like a user journey that we have for one of our projects. And this is where visual skills would be very, very useful, right? Okay, now here is like a diagram to make you understand how things work in our industry. All right, I'll talk about it separately. Okay, here. Okay, so on the left side is actually the skills as a boot camp, or you're probably here like 3 months boot camp. And in the old days, we hire people from university, like 4 years of university, right? And they already have like very fundamental good visual skills to execute the design. And as you progress on in your career, you actually acquire soft skills, communication skills, facilitation skills, persuasive skills, okay? Now on the right side, here's how to read this, okay? On the middle column these are companies who understands UX, like the FANGs, like Google, Facebook, like Amazon, right? But usually as a junior person, it's going to be hard for you to jump right in there unless they have a mass like internship program, right? And also the UX consultancies also understands UX, okay? So it's actually consultancies like us who would actually engage in interns right now. So on the right side, you would see companies who don't understand UX. And a lot of times at the tech startups, although they would want to hire freelance designers, but sometimes their needs are they want full stack designers. They want you to be able to do everything from beginning to end, plus the marketing, plus the PowerPoint, plus the logo, plus the business card, okay? Because they're a small company, they can't hire so many different people, right? And also another type of company that might not understand UX that well is some of the mid-sized corporations. Because some of the people, the senior designers who went into this company might have also, you know, been a career changer from marketing, advertising, or other fields. So their understanding of UX might not be that mature either, okay? So if you're starting as a bootcamper and you're a career changer, you're a junior designer, or you're a fresh grad, the issue with bootcamps is I heard from a lot of senior designers is that the portfolios are too templatized. Like everybody's portfolio looks the same. It's like, hello, my name is. How many of you have a portfolio like that? Okay. So when I talk to employers, they tell me that from bootcampers, they need 12 to 18 months to ramp up their UX skills. And that's a challenge for them because they don't have the time to do that. That's why companies like us, we can take in, you know, interns after we train them. Okay, so in the old days, somebody graduate from four-year university, they go to get internships, or they volunteer to get hands-on experience. So it's very much like a chef, okay? So let's say you took a cooking class. So after 12 weeks or 3 months, you learned like the basics of cooking. So it's like the UX 101, like the basics, right? What you need to really do is to practice your skill, right? You need to go to a small restaurant, you know, to practice, and then go on to a bigger restaurant before you can land the FANGs, okay? So that's the progression. So I can tell you that although there are many YouTubers that tell you can get a six-figure salary, like with 0 experience and 0 degree, I think that is a false claim. There might be a minority of people who can do that, but the truth is, the reason why people are not landing UX jobs is because of this diagram. It's because what you probably learned at UX bootcamps is very basic. It's 101. And without the internship and, you know, hands-on real-world experience, it'll be hard to move on in your career, okay? All right, number 4, don't look for jobs just sending out resumes. How many of you are sitting in your bedroom sending out 100 resumes and you're like, well, I don't hear anything from employers? How many of you feel that way? Okay, well, you know why? You know why employers don't reply you? Anyone? Make sure you stay until the end. I have some secret. Oh, guilty. No. Okay, I think especially because of COVID, like everybody's like stuck at home and not willing to go outside. People buy from people they trust. Okay. So would you trust somebody who is online and not showing their face? I mean, if you show me your face, you get a better chance of becoming my intern, okay? Because, you know, I don't know you guys, right? And employers also don't know you guys. If you just hide behind the screen, then it's going to be very hard for employers to trust you. And what does trust mean? Trust means being reliable, being committed, having integrity, be sincere, have consistency, and have competence, okay? So I think Here's a story of one of my colleagues, Sonia. So this was back maybe 5 years ago, when she just graduated from master's in Hong Kong from design. I wasn't hiring, okay? I wasn't even thinking about hiring. I went to her school, I did a talk, right? She wrote me right afterwards, and I forgot about her email because it wasn't summer yet. And then by summer, I dug out her email. I was like, oh, okay, I forgot about this for a few months. But luckily she was still available. So I was like, well, I wasn't thinking of hiring, but she was willing to volunteer her time to intern for 3 months. And guess what happened? After 3 months, I was so impressed by her skills, I hired her full time. There wasn't a job, okay? But because she gave first before she took, I gave her a job and she worked with me until now. Now it's 5 years later. We spin off another company. She's now the COO of this new tech startup. Okay, so it's only been 5 years. So just know that it's not about just the resume or your portfolio. I think more than 50% is about your personality and how you present yourself. Like, do you show up on time? Do you quit your job after 3 months? Do you show integrity? Are you showing sincerity and being passionate? Because right now there are many people competing for jobs, right? I think if you can, show yourself to senior designers and show that, it's worth hiring you, that you're not gonna like run away or drop the ball, then you have a much better chance of landing a job. It's about building the relationships with people. So you guys are learning user-centered design, right? I would advocate you apply the same psychology or the same logic to being hire-centered, right? Think about what employers want. Think about like how you can stand out, right? So that they'll pick you. Okay, here's what employers tells me, because I organize IXDA Vancouver. I've talked to a lot of senior designers. Some tell me, oh, I need 12 to 18 months to train up junior people, and we just don't have the resource and bandwidth. But if you're very sincere and you're like, hey, can you give me a chance? I'd like to, maybe I could volunteer for 2 to 3 months so you can see my skills first. And then maybe they'll change their mind, like what I did with Sonia. Okay. Some senior designers tell me people change jobs too quickly nowadays because of the gig economy, right? Like everybody has another freelance job or YouTube channel. But when companies hire, they want the people to stay with them. They want it for the long haul, like maybe at least 1 to 2 years at least, right? Not 3 months. So think from the employer perspective. If they hire you, they want you to stay. So I think right now, especially in Canada, I feel that because I've vouched for at least 3 of my interns, the employers call me and ask me 15 questions about the candidate before they decide to hire. I think especially in Canada, people don't want to hire and fire. They want to make sure it's the right person. So if you can show you're the right person with the right company fit, company culture fit, then that's when they would actually give you an offer. Okay, this is the third reason that I hear from senior designers. They say, we need people with soft skills as it's hard to manage teams remotely. As you know, now with COVID, a lot of companies need to do hybrid, right? You go in maybe 2 times a week, but then most of the time you're like sitting in your bedroom working remotely. Or I know people who are also working, sitting in Canada, but working for US companies, right? So this is the reason why companies want to hire 3 to 5 years, because they want people who are mature enough, like they won't just like drop the ball. They want people who have soft skills and people skills to manage people and work smoothly with interdisciplinary teams. So if you have soft skills, if you are a career changer, maybe you are in another industry for 5 to 6 years or even 10 years, that's a plus. Okay. And you can emphasize that in, when you meet with employees or senior designers. So how do you find jobs? I would really advocate you to go to meet real people, okay? Not sitting in your bedroom. Go to your local chapter of Design Association. In Vancouver, we have IXDA. There are also many others like FEDC or ladies at UX. You can go to these events and meet senior people, okay? This was our Christmas party last year. So when you go to these events and make a real connection, that's how you get a job, not just sitting at home sending out resumes. And also remember, give before you get. If you're hire centered, you'll see things from the employer side. Because junior people, you actually need the first chance. You just need the first foot in the door, right? So that's why if you are willing to, let's say, volunteer or intern, then the employer can see your potential before they give you an offer. So it's sort of like when you go shopping in shopping malls, like sometimes, or in supermarkets, like they will have they will let you try some food before you buy the whole package, right? It's the same logic, right? Like you don't want to buy the whole package before you know if it's actually good, right? So give yourself a chance to show and shine in front of employers. And then when you show trust and integrity, they will hire you. Okay, the last point. Need real world experience to land a UX job. A lot of people are like, oh, wow, but how do I get real world experience if I don't have any, right? So my analogy is this. So UX industry is very much like, if you want to be a master chef, okay? In order to get hired as a master chef, like, what do you need to do? Anyone? Anyone?
In a kitchen, at least. Work in a kitchen.
Be able to cook, right? Yes. So you need to be able to cook well as well. Yeah. So the proof is in the pudding. You need to show a portfolio that is a good dish. Oh, can some of you? Okay, turn off. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So design is very much like that. And the good news about design is even if you have a PhD, but you cook crappily, it doesn't matter, okay? Like your portfolio is what we look at on top of your personality and character, okay? So if you go to a boot camp and you've done, 3 months of cooking class, you need to prove that you can actually cook a good dish, like design really well. And benchmark yourself with those UX design awards and not your classmates, okay? Because that's industry standard, right? So how we do that is actually doing UX training is not my primary business, unlike a lot of the boot camps. My primary business is we actually help either large company with UX strategy and research and design, and also with tech startups. Right now I have a business in Canada. I call it Fractional CXO. We become the outsourced design partner with tech startups so that we actually help them get to product market fit. We help them validate customer needs, which is user research, create minimal viable products, advice on their strategy, help them build teams. Here's where we can bring the junior designers that we train into the tech startup. And I'm also there with the tech startup. So unlike a lot of you guys, I know a lot of tech startups only hire a very junior designer. And the issue is, it's like going to work at a restaurant that there's no senior chef for you to learn from. And I think after a few months, what will happen is you're either like following the tech lead or the marketing lead, and you will find that you have nobody to learn from and you leave, right? And also, if you work for an employer who doesn't understand the UX process, then it'll be very hard for you to involve users in the design process, and you'll be kind of hands tied, okay? Now, so this is a chief experience officer. I actually deal with the senior CTO and CEO of the company, and I train up junior designers, and we put them in the right place. Of course, it needs to be the right designer for the right company. So it's not a guarantee, but we try to do our best. Okay. So Ringo was one of the cases where I was recently able to put him on our client team. So he got a full-time job. Okay, so we also have portfolio building courses. And last year we did an NFT course where we have a bunch of interns and we dived into NFT because last year was a craze, right? But we choose like very cutting edge topics that it's unlike a lot of the bootcamp portfolios where it's just like revamping a website. So that I believe if you have this kind of cutting edge knowledge, then it will make you stand out from competition as well. So here's how to land your dream UX job in 6 months. So we're going to be launching this UX career roadmap course in 2 weeks. Okay, so if you're interested, you can sign up today. And after that, 3 weeks, so it's 2 hours per week for 3 weeks. And we also have a weekly additional 2 hours of a Q&A session. And then you can progress to building your portfolio. So step 2 and step 3 is actually about building your portfolio. Unless you can cook a really good dish, you're not going to get hired, okay? So building your portfolio is key. So we have a live course in UX portfolio building, which is going to be about UX and AI coming up. And then those of you who can progress and get selected will become our apprentice. Okay, so it's like MasterChef. And we'll have real client projects for you to work on. And it will be on real client projects with interacting with the client CEO and CTO and marketing people. I will actually be there to coach you end to end. So I know a lot of bootcamps, what they do is, although they have client projects, what they do is they let you deal with the client yourselves, and you don't know if you're doing the right thing. And then the last step is for the good students, I will actually have them progress to the 4th level and bridge them to the employer. Okay. This is what Ringo did. He was really good, and he didn't even have an interview, or he didn't even have to do his portfolio. He already landed a job like after interning for us. Okay. So this is the step 1, which we're launching in 2 weeks to help you discover your strengths and which UX role is suitable for you. And yeah, and we'll go through like 3 weeks with 6 modules. Okay. The portfolio building course is 3 months, and the topic will be UX and AI. I believe this time is necessary. A lot of the boot camps are only like last time when I sponsored Red Academy. It was only 1.5 weeks for each project. It's just no way you can do good work like that, because 3 months is actually almost industry standard that we need time to interview users, understand the requirements before we come up with design. Okay. And then the apprenticeship is I will be there to guide you guys. And the 4th level is I will give you, and we will guarantee UX job interviews because I have selected you guys, some of you, to actually progress to the level 4, okay? So the spring topic for portfolio, the second course will be leveraging AI in the UX process. Okay, last year was NFT and this year will be AI. So you can start your UX career journey. If you feel confused, this is, okay, so here's another testimonial from Crystal. She, actually, from visual design, she progressed into becoming a design entrepreneur, okay? Because of the time, I would not play this video, but you can see she was originally a visual designer back in 2019 and 2020, and then she interned for us. After interning for a while, I transitioned her into a contractor, right? So she worked on like 5 different groups, 5 different projects with us. And then now I encouraged her to become an entrepreneur. So we spin off a company called Red Egg Entertainment. This was the same project that Tintin was doing. So it's about teaching Chinese to kids who grew up from overseas. So it's already been 3 years. So she went to Simon Fraser CEAT program. Okay, so if you go to our website, elaine-ann.com, yeah, if you're still struggling to land a UX job even after a boot camp, this is what we offer. We can help you find your perfect UX job fit. Like Ringo, you know, we transitioned him from an architect to a UX designer at an interior app firm, AI app firm, okay? You can apprentice with me if you're selected. We'll help you build a cutting edge UX portfolio so your portfolio won't be like in the sea of sameness, and we can bridge you to UX jobs. So some of our previous students, even from 10 years ago, I've trained some people. They're now managers at Google, Airbnb, Meta, etc. So this is the course that will launch in two weeks. It's going to be a 3-week live online course. So we'll meet 2 hours every week. And in the middle, we'll also have weekly 2-hour Q&A sessions. So we'll have 6 modules over 3 weeks. So each week we'll have 2 modules. We will align your strengths with the right UX role. We'll teach you how to decipher UX job descriptions so you don't waste time on UX jobs that are actually not really UX jobs, right? Because they might be graphic design and web jobs. Make your resume stand out. Did you know nowadays a lot of jobs have AI screening the resumes? And yeah, if you don't have the right words, you might just be kicked out then. Brush up your UX portfolio. We will help you strategize how your UX portfolio should be. We've seen many junior people, career changers, have 80 to 90% of a portfolio that's non-UX. Like they might put photography, put graphic design, put marketing, put architectural, industrial design work. And that's not going to land you a UX job, because just imagine if you walk into a restaurant expecting them to serve sushi, and then they also serve fried rice and, you know, steak and spaghetti, then that's not what you're looking for, right? Same with employers. If they hire UX, they want a UX portfolio, not anything else. We also teach you how to enhance your soft skills that are valued by employers. Like I said, 50% is your character and your soft skills. The other 50% is your portfolio and resume. That's why you need to know how to network in the UX field to, you know, reach out to the right senior designer to get a job. Okay, so this is our program, and oops, okay. So for the 3 weeks coming up, we will go over these 6 modules. We'll also add a bonus UX competency test for you to assess your skills. So as a senior designer with 20 some years of experience, like my hourly rate is a few $100 US per hour. So through this 6 weeks, you know, this is like the total value of my time, and I have a team to prepare for this as well. But for today, I want to offer you this deal because I want more people. I see so many junior designers or career changers getting lost in this world of UX because they listen to false claims, or, you know, on YouTube videos, they listen to people telling them they don't need experience and they don't need education to get into our industry, which I completely feel is not true. So only for today, whoops. Okay, only for today, it's only $98, okay? Sonia, would you be able to paste the link here for everyone? Yep, Sonia. And yeah, so we'll have this deal on for the next, 45 minutes. And in the meantime, you can ask me questions. about this course and about the, the whole, like, how do you land your dream UX job in 6 months? Okay. All right, and this is my email. This is our site. So let me answer some questions from you. Anyone wants to speak? Okay, how to reach senior Salva? Salva, you want to talk? I see you raise your hands. How to reach senior
Yeah.
to show ourselves.
Yeah, that's one question. I also have one other question. So
Yeah.
one by one, yes.
Okay, Salva, where are you at? Where are you located in this world?
I'm in Vancouver, and I went out together in the IXDA.
Oh, you are in Vancouver.
event.
Okay. Yeah, come out to our events, right? See, I think the benefit of us helping you is I'm at the age group where a lot of my friends are design hires. They're senior designers. They've been in the industry for 10, 20 years, right? So I know them. And I can vouch for people who are good, right? And also, of course, you can also reach out to, let's say, ADP List, get on those sites to reach out to senior designers. However, I think with ADP Lists, senior designers mainly give you like verbal advice, right? They don't take you end to end on a project, which is different from what we do. I'm not saying, I think it's also valuable to talk to senior designers, but I feel what's really missing in the market right now is actually hands-on guidance. The analogy of a master chef is very appropriate because you want to be apprentice for a master chef and be next to them to observe the entire process of the design, right? Like if you learn from a master chef just talking weekly, verbally, do you think you're gonna learn how to cook?
No way.
Right? So it's really apprenticeship that is missing right now. And of course, if you go apprentice or intern for a company who doesn't really understand UX, then you're also, gonna find it challenging as well, right? Could you
Can I
please
ask
send us the
a
link
second
to
question?
Vancouver meetup? Okay. Yeah, Sonia, would you be able to help with that? Okay, so this is the UX career roadmap 3 weeks. So just for today is $98. Okay, it's super cheap. I just want more of you to, learn from me. This 3 weeks is basically let me show you value, right? And if you like it, then you can move on to our portfolio building course. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Salva, did you have something else to say?
Yes, this UX career roadmap, is it online?
Yes, it's here. Yeah, you can go to
Yes.
our website. Our website is this one, elaine-ann.com. So we're really targeting people who are still struggling to land a UX job after bootcamp, right? Because I feel a lot of bootcamps charge you a lot of money and you're not getting to what you want to, right? So we're kind of trying to fill the gap. So we do expect people to already know the basics of UX, like personas, user journey, wireframing, all that, and user testing. But here's where we will take you end to end on a project. Like if you can make it to the second level of the portfolio building course. The first course is really to for us to help you figure out if you're even suitable for UX. I would say not everybody is suitable for UX, okay? But at least you'll find out and you won't waste your time. Because if you're neither people oriented nor you have visualization skills, it might be a little challenging because most small companies don't hire user research, right? So you need to kind of pick your battles and see where you should grow your skills. Okay. Yeah, any more questions, Salva?
Yes, how much is the second course, portfolio building, if we proceed?
The second course we haven't launched yet because we need people to go through the first roadmap one first, before we do the second one. But the second one will be launched like 2 weeks, like 2 to 3 weeks after the first course. Yeah. So, but that's actually a cooking course, right? I think the first course is really to straighten out a lot of the things that I think the UX industry has maybe misled some of you, because of a lot of the boot camps and a lot of the YouTubers. I don't believe you can jump to a 6-figure salary in 3 months. Is hard. Some people can do that, but I would say it's a very small percentage. And you can know that by just go on LinkedIn and look at people's trajectory, right? Like, for example, Roy, one of my previous persons. Okay, he's now at yeah, he was at Microsoft. Yeah, and Alibaba. See, I trained him when he was here at 2017, right? And then he even asked me if he should go to DBS Bank or Accenture or a startup, and I was like, go to DBS Bank, right? And one good news for you guys is in our industry, if you make it in the first 2 years, your career might, advance very quickly. See, he was a UX designer in 2017. He was commissioned to hire his own manager at DBS Bank, but they couldn't find anybody. So he became the manager in just 8 months. And then he went on to become a senior user experience designer and product designer at Microsoft. Now he went to UK to do his master's. But yeah, so look at people's LinkedIn and look at how the career evolved, right? It's not on day one that you get to Microsoft. You have to work on it, right? But even like Tintin, see, this is not too long ago, 2020, right? And then in 4 months time, she became a UX designer, and then in another 1 year or so, she became a UX designer at Ant Bank, and now at Binance. All right, so if you make it in the first 2 years, it could go very fast. Any other questions? Okay, yeah, we want to answer any questions that you had, and here is the course registration, the UX career roadmap. Yeah, because I think a lot of people. Oh, okay. Hi, Aaron. Yeah, a lot of people just randomly apply to jobs, not aligning their strengths, not knowing which companies are the real deal, and the portfolio is not, head turning. Then if it looks very templatized, then you don't get the attention of employers, right? And most importantly, the other half is actually your character. Can you build trust with senior designers to give you a chance, right? Make sure your portfolio is not raw. Aaron, what does that mean? Oh,
yeah, that's a
cooking analogy, right? Yes.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay joke.
Yes. Does that speak to you guys? I think if you use the cooking analogy, it really makes sense, right? If you want to be a chef at the Marriott Hotel, you don't just go take a 3 months cooking class and expect to get there, right? You expect to, hone in on your skills, go to a small restaurant, keep cooking, keep honing in your dish, And then maybe one day you'll meet Gordon Ramsay, right? And he'll hire you. But and maybe even, actually, this is a good analogy. You can even join competitions, right? Join design competitions, win an award, then you get noticed, right? Or go to help out at design associations, build trust and relationship with senior people, go to your local chapters, right? Then I think you'll get a much better chance of landing a job than sitting at home sending out resumes. Okay. Anything else?
I also want to add something, if I can, Elaine.
Sure.
When it comes to getting experience, one thing is good is going on the offense, so to speak, because a lot of people wait for jobs to come to them. You can go out and do pro bono work.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, so you could do pro bono work. You reach out to companies. Hey, I noticed your website looks like XYZ, skilled in this. How can I best serve you? So it's like taking that business mindset and applying it. And that's one way you could show trust. And the trust is built through your work, right? So they'll look through your work. They say, okay, this is good. We trust you to do our website justice. And that's how you can land a client, or that's how you can put that on your portfolio. So when the hiring managers look at your portfolio, they see a lot of real projects as opposed to concepts.
Yes, yes. Sometimes, like even if you go to design school or boot camps, if it's projects that you've done by yourself only and it's very conceptual, there's not a real world case, then to the employer it's like, well, that's not a real dish, right? You've cooked for yourself and you like to eat that dish yourself, but you know, it's not cooked with a team of people. It's not presentable, you know, at a restaurant, right? Yeah. So I think using the chef analogy, it'll make much more sense to you guys, right? Yeah, go and volunteer to cook at some nonprofits, right? And you know, you'll be doing good for the community, and also and maybe also try to push the boundaries. Also create portfolio projects that are, you know, more creative and innovative, because I think hires don't like, we don't really want to see, oh, you just change some usability buttons. That's not why we hire designers. We hire designers because we want creative thinking, we want innovation. So in our courses, our portfolio building course, we pick topics that is cutting edge, and we have you explore. Let's say the one we're going to do next is how AI will change or improve the UX process in every step of the way, from research to defining the product, to exploring ideas, and to prototyping or recruiting users. Okay. Anything else? You're serving Play-Doh. What's that? Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, toy food.
Toy food. Okay. So let's see what else. There is 100 more applying to the same role. Yeah, you know what? I was meeting I met a recruiter at an event, at a tech event, like a week or two ago. He's like, on LinkedIn, every single job has like 400 applicants. So if you don't show up in person, it's gonna be very hard for you to just land a job just sending out a resume. Right? People trust people. And the best thing is, when you're helping out in the community, people notice you, right? Actually, when I was in Hong Kong, organizing IXDA, which I helped out for 15 years, there are volunteers who come to help out IXDA, and then there was this one girl, she got noticed by another volunteer. The other volunteer works at HSBC Bank. And you know how people find jobs? Like, if you're in a company, your employer is going to ask you, oh, hey, we want to hire somebody. And hey, do you know any people around you, like friends that you know? who are good. People recommend their friends, right? So that's usually the first way companies hire people, is to ask their employees, do you know people who are good? So keep good relationships with your peers, your classmates, your ex-colleagues. That's how you get referred. Okay, any more questions? I have a long list of friends to recommend. Yes, Eric. Yeah, Eric, you should share your story. I think you landed a job because you were at an event, right? Showing your skills.
So funny thing, the way I got my job, I did not get it because I had a nice resume, fancy portfolio. It was basically because I was teaching I was just casually teaching fundamentals of UX, and then I thought that but this was back in Simon Fraser University, my time, and I hosted a online first UX hackathon in Canada. And I had like a lot of judges, a lot of mentors come up, show. And one of the judges, coincidentally, like a month after, was hiring. And because he knew me, he knew my work ethics, with how passionate I am with UX and the hackathon, to a point I hosted it, made it happen. And then he was like, yes, I would love to give him a chance. So the first interview was a breeze. Second, so because he already knew me, he knew my work ethic, he knew how passionate I was with UX, he didn't even bother. He said that the first interview was just like a process, a step that like he would easily pass me because he already knew me. The second was when he actually drilled me a little bit, but then yeah, that's when I showed my skills and he was very impressed. But because I did what I did, it gave me that first step in the door.
Absolutely, Eric. I think you're you're the perfect case study. I absolutely agree that employers look at your work ethic, your passion, your character, and your attitude. I think sometimes even more than your portfolio, because employers know you're just starting off. You're just learning, right? I would rather hire somebody who's responsible, who's reliable, than somebody who has, excellent, visual or UI skills. If somebody has a nice looking portfolio, but then, they don't show up on time, or, they drop the ball, then I don't want to deal with that, right? I don't want to give the opportunity to that person. I would rather give it to somebody that I can rely on. So it's all about trust. So just know that when you're looking for a job, and try to build trust amongst people in the industry. Okay. All right. So I think, anything else from the group?
Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining from all over the world. I think some of you might be really late somewhere. But yep, if you find value, please join us. This is like super inexpensive compared to the 15,000 US dollars from boot camps. I really want to help some of you find the right path. And this will probably help some of you get the foot in the door. Okay. All right. Well, if nothing else, then I think we can end here today, and I'll post this again. Yeah, this will be valid for another like 15-20 minutes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.